The wanton killing of rhinos for their horns continues unabated, with South Africa remaining the hotspot. But it is not only official organizations that do conservation work to protect these majestic animals. Many ordinary people are putting their hands up in the fight against rhino poaching. Currently, there are less than 27,000 rhinos left worldwide, with the majority living right here in South Africa. A serial rhino campaigner, Wayne Bolton from Gqeberha, is at it again, and next month he will ride his bicycle from Swakopmund in Namibia to his hometown. 3 other athletes, Sharon Jessup and Melikaya France and Andrew Stewart, are also taking part in this initiative.
Last year, 451 rhinos were poached in South Africa, and poachers are also increasing their activity on private game reserves. Bolton will now undertake his 3rd bicycle adventure ride to continue the Ollie Move, One Land Live It Move campaign in aid of the rhino. He is set to arrive in Gqeberha on the 22nd of September, World Rhino Day.
We elevated the awareness level to include 2 countries, and we decided that we would join Namibia, which has got the world's largest black rhino population, with the largest white population in South Africa. And so the idea was that we would form a concept around this prehistoric iconic animal, our rhino, and join the oldest desert in the world as well, which is the Namib, with the Karoo in South Africa.
But our neighbour Namibia is also a target for poachers. It has lost 22 rhinos to poachers this year already, of which 11 black rhino carcasses were discovered in less than 2 weeks in June alone. Sharon Jessup will also participate in this initiative, taking off for the Labombo border post from Gqeberha when Bolton arrives. That is a run of 3,000 kilometres. Her aim is to raise 1 million rand for the conservation of rhino and their handlers.
Once you've been in the presence of a live rhino, this massive 2-ton animal that's actually so fragile and so beautiful and so iconic, there's just no going back. You know, I always maintain, when you've touched a rhino that's alive, a real rhino, you fall in love.
The marathon star Melikaya France and another Gqeberha local, Andrew Stewart, will also take part in this awareness campaign. Kim Daniels, SABC News, Gqeberha.
For more now, we are joined via Zoom by Wayne Bolton, who is the founder of the One Land Live It organization. Thank you so much for your time, Wayne. Welcome to the agenda. So how did the Forever Rhino Ride expedition come about, and what is its core mandate?
Great to have me, Khaleesi. Thank you very much. We've done 2 expeditions, as mentioned in the introduction, and we felt that the time is right now with the poaching that is still taking place, to use that platform to create awareness for our rhino. And I enjoyed your introduction. You know, it's today's World Rhino Day, and we honor all of those rangers out there. But you know, it's not enough for the paid rangers to save our rhino. The ordinary people, like myself, have to be involved as well. So together with my family, we decided that this year, on the 20th of August, we would ride from Swakopmund in the Namib, join the Karoo ancient desert, and then end in Gqeberha on the 22nd of September at the Donkin Reserve. We will then pass a baton of hope on to other adventurers that you mentioned, including Jenny Gould. So at our core, please see, we want to join 2 countries, Namibia and South Africa, at various levels. It would be great if we could do it at political level, but we want to combine certainly the parks, the national parks, the regional parks, and the private reserves in solidarity in trying to win the battle against the rhino loss situation that we face.
Speaking of rhino loss, Wayne, I mean, just in 2021 only, South Africa recorded an increase in rhino poaching for the first time in 6 years, right? How high are these numbers, and what does this mean for the future of rhinos?
Yeah, Khaleesi, I think what we must view the stats recently in the context of there being less rhino to poach. I think the figure was that in Kruger, the 10-year census showed that the rhino population in that park itself was down by 75%. So there are less rhinos to poach. You will see that yourself if you go and visit Kruger. So during lockdown, the figures came down because obviously the poachers couldn't get the rhino horn out through the borders. There were no flights. For the first time in 2021, the figures went up. And already this year, we've heard of some horror stories. So 110 rhino poached Shishlui and Umfolozi. And Namibia, which we are also going to be including in our campaign, they've had 22 poached, but 11 of those were in one reserve, which was Etosha. So the problem is very real, and I'm not even convinced that all of those numbers are all of the rhinos poached. It's understated, I believe.
So Wayne, going back to the expedition, who will be taking part and what are their roles?
Okay, so I think maybe I've got the easiest role. I'm the cyclist. They'll be doing a solo ride. And I'll be doing it will be just over a month, but 26 days of riding and averaging just over 100 Ks a day. And we'll be joining certain parks along the way, so including government parks, but also some private reserves, your Namabrand, Gondwana, Samara, and then some Sam Parks reserves, Karoo and Addo as well as a Namib. And I think what is perhaps unusual about this expedition, as it was in the first two expeditions, is that I'll have the backing of my family. So my wife, Nikki, will be on the support team, and our daughter, Laura, who will be handling marketing, and our nephew, Kevin. So it's very much a family affair, and we hope to show that an ordinary family can practice responsible citizenship, and we need to, because it's only when the ordinary people stand for something that we can create some kind of political will to change the situation.
Indeed, Wayne. Talk to us about what you're hoping to achieve with this particular expedition.
Felicity, if I can combine the various role players in the rhino struggle, I'll really be glad. As I say, linking the two countries, and Namibia and South Africa, and their role players and the various parks, it will be a success. And including children, we've got various initiatives with the children in the two countries. But I will be bringing a pledge of unity and conservation. In fact, you can see it in the background here. It's a circle, but it's constructed in two separate parts. One which is a black rhino and the other is a white rhino, and they fit together. But the MEFT, which is the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism in Namibia, will hand us half of the pledge in Windhoek before we leave. And we will bring that back home to Kabaga and to the Donkin Reserve, where the other half of the pledge will be given to us by representatives from Sam Parks, ECPTA, and the private reserves represented by Shamwari, showing the unity as we combine that pledge. And so, yes, success for me will be to create awareness around the need for ordinary people and for parks to unite in the effort to support the rangers and to support our rhino.
No, Wayne, it's really exciting to hear of how passionate you are about this cause. So now, can the general public get involved in the conversation, conservation of rhinos?
We'd love that, please. That will mean a success for us. And if they could please just follow us on our various social media platforms. All the tags and the links are available on my website, which is waynebolton.co.za, WAYNEBOLTON.co.za. And you'll find there our Facebook link, which is Wayne Bolton Author, and our Instagram page as well, which is Wayne Bolton _author. And follow us. We'd love to have engagement. We'd love it if you can support us in any way as well. Obviously, these trips are not cheap, but they are imperative. In the fight for rhino, a lot of organizations can raise international funding and put it towards anti-poaching initiatives. We're not that. We're a small family organization. And so we rely on the awareness campaign side of things, and we use a mountain bike to generate awareness. And we've used that platform that we've gained over the last 2 expeditions to form the non-profit you mentioned earlier, One Land Love It, or OLLY. You can find them at oneland.co.za. And we use that organization to do a lot of good, not only for direct rhino work, but also for community work on the border of the parks, and advocacy as well. So you can also find us on that page.
All right, Wayne Bolton, we have to wish you all the best and stay hydrated. We'll also be keeping an eye on you on that. Thank you so much for your time indeed on the agenda. That's Wayne Bolton there speaking to us about his expedition, which is aimed at raising awareness on the plight of rhinos. It's time for us now to take a quick break. We bring you more news after this. You're watching